Hey everybody, it's GeoBug. I am back today with a Dreamlight Valley video. This video is going to be 15 tips for people just starting out. And if you didn't notice any of these while you're still playing, that'll be cool too. So let's jump right in. Starting off with tip number 1, we're looking at Ariel and Ursula. Both of these characters are water-based characters, meaning they cannot walk around land. So the tip here is to start befriending them as soon as possible. You're going to want to give them as many of their favorite gifts as possible every single day and talk with them. They like to have a conversation that really bumps up their thing. They do not have any of the skills associated with the characters to be able to raise their levels, as far as I can tell anyway. So you're gonna want to jump on that as soon as possible. Otherwise, you're gonna end up like me, where you're jumping on for about 20 minutes every day just to give them their favorite gifts, and it gets a bit tedious after a while. It kind of made Tip number 2 leads right off of tip number 1, and that is that favorite gifts change every day. I did not know this starting out. I was trying to stockpile the same gifts, but they do change, and if there is any consistency, it's going to be in something like how Ursula seems to want 2 cooked gifts every day, something like that, so keep an eye out. Tip number 3, this one was really handy after I figured it out. There may be a better way. If there is, please leave it down in the comments. But other than that, so let's say you have some dig spots that you'd like to get rid of in a big area. Maybe you were farming and you don't want to farm there anymore. Just get out your handy bed, any big furniture will do, and you place it down and it will get rid of those dig spots. Now it can be finicky. Sometimes when you back out of it, it'll put those back down. So I like to leave the bed there, go back in, and then just remove the bed myself. And just like that, in no time, you have a clear space again. Tip number 4 is watch out for thunderstorms. They seem to be very rare. This is the 3rd time I've come across one in all my hours of play, but they are very important because it is the only time you can catch a fish known as the fugu fish. I think it's a puffer fish. You need to be looking out for those orange fishing spots during a thunderstorm. And unlike me, make sure you have a fishing buddy with you so you can try to get up more than just the one. And right here, we're catching it right now. And there it is. Tip number 5 is make sure whenever you get this glowing harvest, just really rapidly spam that button and get as many as you can. I wasn't doing this for the longest time because it was kind of a pain in the butt to try to get right over it, but once you get the hang of it, it's really worth it. You get so much, especially if you're harvesting things like pumpkins. So tip number 6 is make sure you do not teleport when you have your friend in that little cage for that farming trick. The problem with that is, and we'll see right here with Mickey, I've planted a bunch of stuff, I've harvested it, and Mickey was locked behind the cage there so that we can do that little exploit. And if we just follow Mickey up this way, you can see he's running up by himself. Right here, he digs in the spot like he would to get your extra crops, and they go everywhere. They're nowhere near where they should have been, and it makes a huge mess. Tip number 7, when you see a bunch of glowing blue stuff like this, it'll auto pick up when you run over them. However, if you have a full inventory, it will just take away the blue and you'll be left to pick those up by hand. Tip number 8, make friends with Kristoff as soon as possible. Kristoff has a wonderful thing where he opens a store at level like 5 or 6, I think, where you can buy coal, fiber, and sand, I believe. And from there, once you get him to level 10, he can buy, he will sell more things like bricks and snowballs. Although I do find it kind of cheap. They make you use an iron ingot, but he never sells iron ingots. But here's an example of what he'll sell. Stone, wood, okay, yep, yeah, and he'll change all that stuff too. Tip number 9, have a bunch of chests. Just have a whole bunch of chests. It's super worth it. Make sure you're saving a little bit of everything as well. You're gonna need it at some point. Maybe mine's to excess, but I like to just really stockpile everything. I keep mine organized because though you see all those spaces in the chest, they don't actually use those. It's only those first 2 rows. I don't know if there's an upgrade system later or not, but either way, lots and lots of chests. Save a whole bunch of stuff if you can. And guys, while we're talking about everything, make sure if you're enjoying this content, please like, subscribe, and comment, especially comment. I love interacting with the comments. So on to tip number 10. Our tip here is do not assign, say, more than 1 or 2 people the digging skill. You just don't dig that much. You do everything else a lot more. If you're gardening a lot, you'll still only dig that one section of plot, you know? So don't do too many digging, people. You don't need it. Do foraging. I do mining a whole bunch, fishing, all the other ones, and gardening especially, but digging just isn't that necessary. So don't waste your time trying to use digging to raise their levels. Pick other options. It's way easier. On to tip number 11. Utilize your map. It will tell you everything you need to know. It'll tell you where everyone is. It'll tell you when your trees and your bushes are ready. It'll even tell you when your crops are ready. I usually put mine right in here, but I don't have any right now. But it will tell you when everything's ready. And that leads us right into tip number 12. And tip number 12 is use that furniture screen. Okay? You can move all around. You can look for anything you need to, like quest items, fishing spots. Right here, I'm circling this one because I need that. That right there is going to be a lobster, and we're going to use that for our next tip. And here you can see one of those daily chests as well. On to tip number 13. Here we're feeding one of the pet crocodiles. I love these little guys, because what we want to do is grab one of these bags here. It's a motif bag. And the tip here is whenever you get a bag, go ahead and open that bag right away, because they do not stack, and you're going to want to get those out of your inventory as soon as possible, and it's way easier to do it one at a time rather than have 10 in your inventory and spend the time doing it. Tip number 12, why walk when you can teleport? So right here what I'm doing is I'm walking from my well all the way over to Moana's fishing boat, and look how long this seems to take. Running in this game feels a little cumbersome in my opinion, and it just seems to take forever. So what we're going to do is right here, we're going to take our teleporter, we're going to go all the way back, then we're going to go into the editing screen and move that well over. Look how much time this takes compared to walking. No time at all. You just drop it right by Moana's boat, and then you teleport. And it feels so much faster, particularly on the beach. The beach is a long stretch of land. So go ahead, move that teleporter anywhere you need to. We all know the trick about moving back and forth into the hard to get to areas, but just use those teleporters everywhere. So much handier. And our last tip, number 15, is utilize these stoves outside. Now I only have one outside currently, because I haven't been doing enough to make more, but even still I like to move this little guy around everywhere. Instead of running inside your house or in Remy's shop, it takes way less time. You can put them right here next to these goofy stalls, and you can sell whatever you cook if you want to. They're also handy when you're running around and you need energy and you don't want to eat a bunch of forageables. You can just cook up a quick meal while you're outside, and on you go. We made a nice veggie pasta right there. And like I said, you can eat it or sell it right there outside. So anyway, guys, that was our 15 tips for beginners or anyone who needs them. I really appreciate all the support we've been getting lately, guys. I know I'm brand new, but man, I really appreciate everything we've done. So once again, make sure you like, super duper comment. It really helps out the algorithm. And subscribe if you're interested in more content like this. And we'll catch you in the next video.